He ruled the most powerful empire on earth, and every single day, he told himself he was nothing special. Marcus Aurelius, Emperor of Rome, commander of the largest military force in the world, a man who could end lives with a word. And he spent every morning reminding himself that he was just a man, that he would die, that none of his power actually mattered. Most leaders surround themselves with yes-men, with people telling them how great they are, with constant validation and praise. But Marcus did the opposite. And that discipline, that daily practice of humility and reality, that's what made him actually great. Because real power doesn't come from believing you're special, it comes from knowing you're not, and acting accordingly. So let's go back. About 2,000 years ago, Rome at its peak. Marcus is emperor, has everything, ultimate power, ultimate luxury, ultimate control. And every morning he wakes up and writes, not proclamations, not laws, not orders, just notes to himself, reminders, truths he needs to remember. Because he knows something most powerful people forget. Power corrupts. Success inflates ego. And without discipline, without daily practice, he'll become the kind of emperor he hates. Disconnected, arrogant, cruel. So he writes, today you're going to meet liars, betrayers, selfish people, people who will try to use you. And it's not their fault. They just don't know any better. So don't be surprised. Don't get angry. Just remember this is how people are. And do your job anyway. He's preparing his mind, setting expectations, practicing discipline before the day even starts. Because he understands that his first battle isn't out there in the world. It's in here. In his own mind, in his own reactions, in his own character. Most people wake up and just react. React to whatever happens. React to whoever does what. React to circumstances. No preparation, no discipline. Just raw reactions all day. And they wonder why they're exhausted. Why they're always upset. Why nothing goes the way they want. But Marcus prepares every morning, without fail. He writes what he needs to remember, what he needs to practice, what he needs to be. And that discipline, that daily habit of conscious preparation, that's what separates him from every other emperor. That's what makes him one of the few who doesn't become a tyrant. He also practices negative visualization every day. He imagines losing everything, his power, his position, his family, his life. Not to be depressed, but to stay humble, to stay grateful, to remember that everything is temporary, that nothing is guaranteed. Most people avoid thinking about loss, about death, about worst-case scenarios. They think it's negative, unhealthy, but Marcus knows it's the opposite. When you regularly imagine losing everything, you stop taking everything for granted. You stop being entitled. You stop thinking you're special just because you have power. You stay human. And staying human when you have the power to be anything, that's discipline. Real discipline. The kind most people never develop because they never practice it. He writes every night too, reflecting on the day. What went well? What went badly? What he learned? What he needs to do better tomorrow. He's constantly evaluating himself, holding himself accountable, not waiting for others to tell him he screwed up, telling himself, that's self-discipline, not just controlling your actions, but examining them, learning from them, constantly improving. Most people never do this. They just live, day after day, making the same mistakes, never learning, never improving. Never examining whether they're actually becoming better people or just older people. But Marcus examines daily, without fail. because he knows that unexamined power is dangerous power, that unexamined success is hollow success, that unexamined life isn't worth living. So he examines every single day, no matter how tired, no matter how busy, no matter what. That's discipline. Not doing things when you feel like it, doing them because they matter. Whether you feel like it or not, whether it's convenient or not, whether anyone's watching or not, just doing what needs to be done, consistently, daily, without excuse. He also practices physical discipline, wakes up early, trains, even though he's emperor, even though he could sleep in, even though nobody would judge him for being lazy. He trains, because he knows that physical discipline builds mental discipline, that what you do with your body affects what you can do with your mind. Most people separate these, think they can be mentally strong while being physically weak, but Marcus knows better. Discipline is discipline. You don't get to be disciplined in one area and undisciplined in another. Either you practice discipline or you don't. And if you don't practice it in the small things, you won't have it in the big things. He said, you have power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this, and you will find strength. That's the core discipline. Not trying to control everything, but controlling yourself, your thoughts, your reactions, your character. That's where your power actually lives. That's what you can actually discipline. Everything else is just hoping, just wishing, just being disappointed when reality doesn't cooperate. But if you discipline yourself, if you practice daily control over your own mind, your own responses, your own behavior, you become unstoppable. Not because you control everything, but because nothing controls you. That's real power. That's what Marcus built through daily discipline. Now, let's bring this to your life. Because you probably don't have daily disciplines. You probably wing it, react to whatever happens, hope for the best, and wonder why you're not where you want to be, why you keep making the same mistakes, why you never seem to improve. Marcus would say, it's because you don't practice. You don't have disciplines. You don't do the daily work of preparing your mind, examining your life, improving your character. You just live, and living without discipline is just existing, just reacting, just being blown around by whatever happens. Think about your morning. Do you prepare your mind? Do you set intentions? Do you remind yourself of what matters? Or do you just check your phone and start reacting to whatever's there? Most people do the second one, and they spend their whole day reactive, scattered, controlled by circumstances. Marcus did the first. Every morning, no exceptions. And that's why he could handle being emperor, could handle the pressure, could handle the chaos, because he prepared for it daily, through discipline. Or think about your evening. Do you reflect? Do you examine your day? Do you learn from mistakes? Do you identify what needs to improve? Or do you just collapse and distract yourself until you sleep? Most people do the second. And they wake up tomorrow and make the same mistakes. Never learning, never growing. Marcus reflected. Every night, no matter what. And that's why he kept improving. Kept growing, kept becoming a better emperor, better leader, better person. Not through talent, through discipline, through daily practice of examination and improvement. Here's another one. Physical discipline. Are you training your body? Not for vanity, for discipline, for the mental strength that comes from pushing through physical discomfort, for the self-control that develops from doing hard things when you don't feel like it. Most people aren't. They make excuses. Too busy, too tired, don't feel like it. And they wonder why they lack discipline in other areas. But you can't compartmentalize discipline. Either you practice it everywhere, or you don't have it anywhere. Marcus trained daily. Even as Emperor Bhikkhus, he understood that discipline is a practice, a habit, something you build through repetition, not something you have naturally, not something that appears when you need it, something you develop daily, through small acts, through consistency, through showing up even when you don't want to. That's the secret. That's what made Marcus different. He didn't have special gifts. He just had disciplines, daily practices, habits he never broke, things he did whether he felt like it or not. And those disciplines, accumulated over years, built real power, real character, real strength. Most people want results without discipline, want to be great without daily practice, want to be strong without daily training, want to be wise without daily examination. And they're disappointed when it doesn't work, when they stay the same year after year. But Marcus shows you the path. Daily discipline, morning preparation, evening reflection, physical training, mental practice, character examination, all of it, every day. No exceptions, no excuses, just consistent practice of being better than yesterday. And here's what happens when you actually do this. When you actually build daily disciplines, you become reliable to yourself. You know you'll show up. You know you'll do what you said you'd do. You know you'll keep your commitments. And that reliability, that self-trust, that's the foundation of everything else. You also become resistant to circumstances, to setbacks, to chaos. Because you've trained for it. You've practiced staying calm, staying focused, staying disciplined. So when life gets hard, you don't fall apart. You just keep doing what you've trained to do. And you become better, constantly. Not through dramatic breakthroughs. Through small improvements. Daily, over time. That compound, that accumulate, that turn you into someone you couldn't have imagined becoming. Not through magic, through discipline. Marcus ruled Rome for nearly 20 years. Through wars, plagues, betrayals, constant pressure, and he stayed good, stayed humble, stayed effective. Not because he was naturally gifted, but because he practiced discipline daily. Built habits that kept him grounded. Created routines that kept him improving. And when he died, he was remembered as one of the best emperors Rome ever had. Not the most successful, not the most powerful, but the best, the wisest, the most disciplined, the one who used his power well because he never forgot he was just a man. And he remembered that through daily practice, through discipline, that's available to you, not emperor power, but self-power. The power that comes from discipline, from daily practice, from showing up, from examining, from improving, from being reliable to yourself. That's real power. And it's built the same way Marcus built it, one day at a time. Through discipline, through practice, through never breaking your commitment to yourself. Most people won't do this. They'll keep hoping, keep wishing, keep looking for shortcuts, and they'll stay the same. But you can be different. You can choose discipline, choose daily practice, choose to become someone who actually builds power instead of just talking about it. The question is whether you will, whether you'll start tomorrow morning, whether you'll prepare your mind, examine your life, train your body, improve your character, whether you'll build disciplines that build power, real power, the kind that lasts, the kind that matters, the kind that Marcus proved is possible through nothing more than daily practice. Subscribe for more wisdom that builds real strength through daily discipline.